والسلام, "If you consider that I am foul, supplicate God that he might remove me from the world. Then you will see on whom the supplication recoils."
In 1910, Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih resigned his office of president of the Sadr Anjuman Ahmadiyya and appointed Sahibzada Mirza Mahmud Ahmed to be president of the association. Thus the confusion between the authority of the president, the Anjuman and the Khalifatul Massih was cleared up.
Khalifa means the successor, and a successor has to fulfill that objective for which the Prophet has been working. So when Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih was appointed as the Khalifa of Hadhrat Masih Maud, there were certain things which he thought they were just in the early stages and they need to be completed. For example, in Talimul Islam High School, there was a class which was known as the theological class, Diniyat class, in which particular emphasis was given on religious matters, and that was introduced in Talimul Islam High School. But later on, the wish of the promised Messiah ﷺ was, particularly at the demise of Hadhrat Maulvi Abdul Karim Sahib and Hadhrat Mulana Nur-ud-deen Sahib, both great scholars of the Jamaat and great servants, that promised Messiah ﷺ wanted that there should be a sort of Madrasa Ahmadiyya established in Qadian so that future missionaries could be trained and should be taught in that institution.
Consequently, the foundation stone for the new building of Madrasa-e Ahmadiyya was laid on the 1st of March 1909. Hazrat Sayyid Muhammad Salva Shah was appointed its first principal. This Institute of Theological Studies is still operating in Qadian. Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I was keenly aware of the need for Hindu-Muslim unity, and he was also very well aware that this cause was very dear to the promised Messiah, who worked till the last days on Perame Sulah, a lecture which was designed to generate an urge for unity. He therefore made arrangements for the delivery of this lecture, which the promised Messiah had completed before his demise.
So later on, Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih I decided that it should be read out to a gathering in Lahore. So on the 26th of June 1908, this paper was read out by Khwaja Kamaluddin Sahib, and the meeting was presided over by Justice Chatterjee, who was a judge of the Lahore High Court. There were thousands of people who listened to this lecture, and it was highly acclaimed by the newspapers and by other media.
Huzur directed the community that every year an examination in certain prescribed books of the promised Messiah should be held. The first such examination was held on the 24th of December 1908. Since then, this method of study of the books of the promised Messiah has continued in the community. In the first year of the Khilafat, Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I set up a public library in Qadian. He himself was a man of learning and fond of books.
हज़रत खलीफातुल मसीह अव्वल ने अपनी तमाम ज़िंदगी में बेशुमार कुतुब को इकट्ठा किया था और बड़ी दूर दूर से किताबें मंगवाकर आपको एक शौक़ था और आपने एक लाइब्रेरी बनाई हुई थी। और आपकी वफ़ात के बाद वो लाइब्रेरी जो थी वो हज़रत मिर्ज़ा बशीरुद्दीन महमूद अहमद, जो कि जमात अहमदिया के दूसरे खलीफा बने, उन्होंने उस लाइब्रेरी को बाकायदा तौर पर शुरू किया। अब सवाल ये था कि इस लाइब्रेरी को जमात अहमदिया के लिए, मतलब इन कुतुब को महफूज करने के लिए कोई जगह भी होनी चाहिए और बाकायदा एक लाइब्रेरी की शक्ल दी जाए इसको। तो उसके लिए हज़रत अम्मा जान ने, जो कि हज़रत मसीह मौऊद अलैहिस्सलाम की अहलिया थी, उन्होंने अपना एक बहुत बड़ा मकान जो था वो इसके लिए वक्फ किया। और हज़रत मिर्ज़ा बशीरुद्दीन महमूद अहमद साहब, जो कि खलीफा सानी थे, उसमें उन तमाम किताबों को जमा किया और तमाम कुतुब को इकट्ठा किया और उनको रखा। और फिर जमात ने उससे बहुत इस्तिफ़ादा हासिल किया, बल्कि अब तक जमात उन किताबों से बहुत इस्तिफ़ादा हासिल कर रही है।
Well, Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih I was by nature inclined towards the poorer section of the community, toward their welfare, even before his Khilafat. He was very well known for this, that he had several students who came to Qadian and all their expenses were paid by Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih I from his own pocket. So after Khilafat also, Hadhrat Mir Nasir Nawab Sahib, who was the father-in-law of Hadhrat Masih Maud alayhi salatu wasalam, had established an organization called the Dar-uz-Zu'afa, that is the house for the poorer section of the community. And there he looked after the poor section of the community. He will provide food for them. He would, and Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih first, when he became the Khalifa, he supported him with everything that he could.
He also decided to set up a small dispensary, which later grew into a hospital. In 1918, it was named Mulana Nur-ud-deen Memorial Hospital, and to this day is engaged in serving humanity. Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I launched a scheme to provide houses for the poor. The first house was built from the funds provided personally by Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I himself. This locality was named Nasirabad Street. Later, Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I also built a mosque and a well to provide clean water. In 1909, Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I appointed Maulvi Muhammad Ali as in charge of the translation of the Holy Quran, directly under his own supervision.
Well, Hazrat Khalifatul Massih Awwal Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu used to dictate notes in Urdu, and later Maulvi Muhammad Ali Sahib, who was taking those notes, would translate them piece by piece into English. The work was completed 3 days before the sad demise of Hazrat Khalifa Awwal Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu. Regrettably, Maulvi Muhammad Ali Sahib took away the notes of Hazrat Khalifatul Massih Awwal Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu to Lahore. After he broke away from the main body of the Jamaat, he made changes to the translation to suit his own ideas and published it under his own name.
The British government announced that a coronation ceremony would be held in Delhi on the 12th of December 1911 to proclaim His Majesty George V, Emperor of India. Hazrat Khalifatul Massih I decided to request the king that Muslim employees of government might be granted a leave of 2 hours on Friday, so as to enable them to offer the Friday noon service. A memorial was drawn up for this purpose and presented to the king. In consequence of this memorial, Muslim employees were granted a 2-hour leave. As the Ahmadi population was growing rapidly, a new neighborhood by the name of Darul Uloom was added to Qadian. Many new buildings were erected, such as the Nur Mosque in 1910, Talimul Islam High School, with its fabulous hostel in 1912, Nur Hospital. Under Huzur's direction, an extension to the Aqsa Mosque was undertaken, which was completed in January 1910.
Well, the period of Khilafat of Hadhrat Khalifatul Massih Awwal Radhiyallahu Ta'ala Anhu was not very long. He remained Khalifa for nearly 6 years. But during this short period, Alhamdulillah, he was able to accomplish great tasks. The most important thing which he did was the consolidation of the institution of Khilafat. And apart from that, so far as the publications are concerned, there were quite a few publications during that period. There was 2 magazines which he started. One was Ahmadi and the other was Ahmadi Khatun. And also there were 4 newspapers which were published during that time. The first one was An-Nur and Akhbarul Haq. These were the 2, and